And that's when he was alive, we would say Boscov. But when he passed away, we all said, me and Vicky would say, oh, we're going to go our favorite second husband. And everyone would be like, second husband? What are y'all talking about? And we say, Boscov. Even though he's dead, we are going to go to our second husband and spend some money. But Vicky was I'm going to miss her because even though she was a spitfire, she had her moments. I'm going to miss her because she showed me the love that a person is supposed with the three of them. Vernon was like E.F. Hutton. When she talked, everyone listened. Mama Edna was the truth person. She would sit up there and tell you what was on her mind in a loving way. If you didn't like it, well, you had to deal with it. Um, for Vicky, that was our Spitfire. Oh, that was the fire one. She'd say, if anybody messes with my friends, I got something for them. Vicky, I have
So
so
many
many
sweet,
sweet,
loving
loving
memories
memories
with her.
with her.
And then I think about it even now, even when she was for Passover, if anyone had questions, she was the one that did the eggs. She did all the Passover eggs. So she always loved, but she didn't make it this year to Passover. And I knew personally that something was wrong. But I knew that after her long friend, Mama Edna, she loved her. They talked every day. They were on the phone 3 times a day. And they were good, good friends. And I tried to be that comfort to Mama Vicky. But I'm glad now that where we are all working to get into the rest of the Lord. She's resting now. She's no longer suffering. Her sister, her twin sister, I called her Auntie Carol. Didn't get too close with her, but I knew one thing. She loved her sister. She loved her brother who had pre-passed, her brother Steve. And I love Vicky because she was the first person who did Passover, told me about Passover at my house. And that was a blessing to see them there. And she showed me how to do it. And I just will miss her. I'll miss her a lot. I'll think about her. I have fond memories, just the love that she showed me and all of us, anyone, especially if you were hungry, because even in the hospital, Victoria can vouch for this. She fussed about a sandwich that she wanted. She wanted this roast beef sandwich. She wanted it. She wanted it. She wanted it. When she finally got it, she couldn't eat it. But like Vicky, oh, I don't want this. Well, I can't eat it. I'm going to pass it on to someone else. With Scott, when we would go out to eat, she always thought of Scott. Oh, well, Scott will like this. Let me make sure he gets that. It was the hangout crew, but she always had others in her heart and others in her mind. I am going to miss her. I'm going to miss her fussing. I'm going to miss her just her food. I'm not going to say it was bad, but it wasn't. It was what it was. And she was the cook of the congregation. So somebody's going to have to take it up. I don't know who's going to take that up. But but she always fed us. She always, and oh, don't, she'd make her lamb stew. And that was a good one. I don't know if any of y'all know how she cooked. That lamb stew was something. And she always did what she, and I have to share this with you people. She was part of my healing fear of dogs. When I was my mother had a dog, and every time my mother wanted me to come into the house, she would say, "Beauty, go get Tata." Well, that's my nickname when I was a kid, and the dog would bite me on my ankles. So at growing up, I didn't like dogs. But when she got Patches, and she said, "Myrna, you're gonna love Patches. Patches is a sweetheart. Patches is," I would be like, "No, no, no." And a lot of people are afraid of dogs. But she was the part of the healing process of me receiving dogs now at my age. And I won't, and that's another thing. She never told you her age, except this year on her birthday, she finally told me her age. And she was 80 years old. And I said, "Oh, Mama Edna, you like Caleb and Joshua and Caleb. They were 80 and they were spunky, Mama, and you just like him." And she was like, "Yeah, but you know, Myrna." And she would go on in her moments. But I loved Vicky for all that she was. She will be missed, I know, in my heart, in my home. And I'm pretty sure here in ours. So to all those who know her, remember that was the cook of the family. She was a beautiful woman who stood up when she felt somebody did you wrong. She would fight for you, and even when you did good, she would fight. So that's all I have to say. I'm just gonna miss her.
I think eventually got over a fear of dogs, because dogs stay out the whole time. You can bring your baby.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. It's still a shock, but we are grateful to God for the gift of knowing her. So I think we've been attending Hope of Israel now. I think it's 4 years,
No
3 to
way.
4, because we were in the apartment and now we're at the house. Yeah. So, yeah. And the very first time we met Vicky, so bubbly, so loving, so caring, and just wanting us to eat. I remember we would just be like, "Okay, we're heading out. Bye, everyone." And she would like, "No, no, no, come and eat." And that was just who she was. Just very inviting, very warm, very much as a mother. And we're so grateful for that. And it was not until recently when we were, she needed home care, and because we have a home care business, we were providing assistance. You want to say something? We were providing assistance to her and being there for her, and just seeing in those moments that, you know, Vicky is still loving. Like, even in those moments, she would still try to offer, you know, the caregivers food. When I would come around just to check on her, she would offer food. She would, you know, she wanted me to feel very warm and welcomed in the home. And I always would explain to her, "Vicky, I'm here, you know, for you. We're here to provide care for you." But that's just who she is. That's her heart, just always caring for others. And I remember the last time when we saw her at the hospital, and as we were praying, the biggest thing I felt strongly to pray for was just for her to be in his presence, for her to feel God's presence. And that was just something in those moments we just all prayed for, and we just felt united in that prayer to just intercede for her to have, because in the hospital, obviously, there's a lot going on. She had some tubes and stuff, and in those moments, we were just praying for God to just be with her and for her to feel his presence. And I was glad that as we were leaving, that's what she felt as well. She definitely will be missed. She helped me with overcoming the fear of the dogs as well when I would come there to provide care with the caregivers. Same thing, Patches would just come around, and I would say, you can keep him out. The first couple of times she had to take the dog out every time she knew I was coming in. But after a while, I was like, he can actually hang around while we're taking care of you. So that was nice. And she's such a loving person, very adaptable to different people. When we as believers, I know when we are to be like Christ came in human form. So it was just beautiful to see how she would adapt to each person and showing love in the way they wanted to receive it. So yeah, we definitely love Vicky. Thank God for her. Thank God that we were able to serve in those moments. I take that very, very, even now it's still, because when you're sick, you're so vulnerable. So there were moments we had where it was just so pure and so, we love her, and we thank God for serving. Yeah.
Okay, anyone else who wants to speak? You're welcome to come up and say something. Jonathan, aren't you going to speak? I can't see Jonathan not speaking. He's right there. How about his beard? There you go.
There we go. Yeah, somebody criticized me before I had it on my shirt, and the beard was making a rustling sound. I don't know when I started to know Vicky, but she always, we had a special relationship. I don't know why, but she was somehow often when I would come to the service, we would have similar colored clothes on for some reason. I don't know. And we'd match. We'd have green on together or blue or something like that. And she always made me feel like I was one of her special friends. I think she was kind of like that with everybody. She was like, oh, I'm saving a birthday, a special, come over for your birthday, and if you can't make it, come anytime afterwards, or come anytime for a special meal, just let me know. And she really made me feel special that way. I was thinking when she's now running through the fields in heaven. She always had difficulty walking, but now she's running and gallivanting around. And I know when she got to heaven, it was so beautiful and so loving. She would say, "See, I told you this is how it would be." Why wouldn't they listen? Let's see, I'm going to sing a song, Glory to That would be glory. When all my labors and trials are o'er, and I am safe on that beautiful shore, just to be near the dear Lord I adore, will through the ages be glory for me. Oh, that will be glory for me, glory for me, glory for me. When I am safe, I shall look on his face. That will be glory for me. And I just, I think we're all going to miss Vicky. I think Myrna hit it when she said a Spitfire. That's what Vicky was. She was a Spitfire. But so loving, such a loving person. And thinking about the food there, she would say, I got a special cup of soup for you. This is just for you. I think she just made everybody just feel so special. And just a very unique personality with her energy and her caring and she wouldn't be stopped from what she was thinking. She didn't hold it in. Yeah. All right, that's.
So I just had a picture of something, and I looked over my phone, and there was a text. There's an APB going out for Edna and Vicky in heaven. They're running around, and they don't know what to do with themselves.
I did not know Vicky as well as many of you have. I never went on any luncheon excursions with her. I can hold it. I never went on any luncheon excursions with her. We never went shopping to Boscov's together. Although on the rare occasions that I do buy new clothes, I normally hang around thrift stores, and I'm sorry to say Heidi, Goodwill. I would go to Boscov's. When I think of Vicky, I think of her dog, because to me, that's her real twin. I didn't meet her biological twin, human, but I see Peaches as her soulmate. When I would over go her house a few times, not many, the dog was always there. He was around her in almost a protective mode, I think. And she felt the same way about her. And I'll just close with this. The last time I spoke with her, I went into the hospital where she was, and the first words out of her mouth were, "Do you have any soft pretzels for me?" And since I normally don't carry soft pretzels around with me, I had to decline. But I will say this, when I finish my diet in about 3 months, and I'm a svelte 175, I will begin the end of my diet with a soft pretzel and lots of mayonnaise. I'm sorry, mustard, forgive me.
Does anyone else want to speak? Oh wait, but I have this on. Do I need to?
No, you don't. Go ahead.
Okay, testing, I think I'm on. I'm hoping, does this have pictures? I was hoping, this mimics my computer that's at the shop, but if a picture of her dog, Patches, I guess I'm not going to be able to. Okay. Anyway, I guess I met Vicky when they were coming out to Hope of Israel, and she just became, we had a prayer, we would have a prayer group at our house, and Vicky and Edna and Myrna were always there. Different other people would be there, but they were always there. And I don't really know how we became so close. I honestly don't. It just happened that we got close. Oh, I know one thing that made us close is, as you know, I'm always doing things here. So when we moved to Burlington, she lived in Willingboro. She refused to let me drive myself here to services because I do enough, she's driving me. So honestly, until she got sick and I started driving her around, she had to drive me every week to services. And I guess that's, you know, we obviously got close, coming together in the car. And like they said, it was very hard for her in the end because she liked to give. And she had a hard time receiving. She didn't know how to be on the receiving end. And that, it was a struggle for her. It was. I can still remember the conversation. Vicky, and even recently I was only allowed to come, but even then, before she really got to where she couldn't talk and she would like just mimic, she'd just use her lips and look at me and say things, she kept saying, you shouldn't be here, you have a life to live and all this. I'm like, Vicky, you would do it for us. I know, but you guys have to do, you know, she still was trying to say, you shouldn't be wasting your time with me, you have other things to do. And I kept saying, I don't want to hear it because I know you do the same thing for me and for them. And I just want to share how Julia became a part of her life. So something that we brought into our home.
Just so you know, Julian crashed at the house, fell asleep.
I was concerned. I'll be honest, this whole time I've been very nervous, worrying about him. Julia was someone named Kim brought to our congregation when it was in our home, and we found out he had nowhere to live, and he moved in, and he became a part of our family. The ironic thing is Julian isn't the most ordinary name. I mean, it's not Jim. Sorry, Jim. Tom. Oh, well. And I have a biological son named school, and when he came home from school and he was at our fellowship at the house, and people would come up to him and say, oh, you're Julian too, because they hadn't known him, you know. And he said to me, my son, biological son, Julian, said, it's really weird being the other Julian in my own house, you know. And when I told Julian Walker, the one you all know, told him that, he was so upset. No, I'm not the Julian they should call. He got so upset because my son Julian shouldn't feel like he's second. I said, my son Julian doesn't care at all. It was just funny, you know. And I had to keep convincing him. He wanted me to call him by his last name. Well, not a chance. I liked it when I named my son, and you're going to be Julian too, you know. But anyway, and he lived with us and was part of our. Lived in with someone named Paul. Anyway, Paul is her missionary, and we got close. We got to know him, their brother, and they were such buds. They were sharing. Paul had a house, and you know they were sharing the responsibilities. And then someone else we rescued down in Texas long ago ended up showing up. Anyway, they were kind of jealous of Julian and were making problems, and he was doing just moving out. He didn't want anybody else to get. I mean, he was there long before her, but he moved out immediately. And at the time, I think we had about 5 people living with us, so we couldn't. We had no room. So I asked Vicky. It was a prayer meeting, and I asked. We put him up for a few. Like, I can find him right now. I don't have a single spare room, And she said, I don't like taking in people I don't know, but okay, I'll take him in for you, but only 5 days. Well, the 5 days ended and she refused to let him go. And I thought that she fell in love with him and he fell in love with her. And she just wouldn't. No way, you're not taking him out of here. This is his home. And so she's been with him for at least a few years, I think it's been. 4 years, 4 years. And so, anyway, and then when she got sick, he was in a situation where she had her granddaughter living with her and her great-granddaughter. So he wanted to move out again and be with her. And in all honesty, when she had the heart situation and I took her to the hospital and then she needed certain help at home, not just health care, but during the morning and night. And I tried to share with her granddaughter how to do it, and her granddaughter didn't want to be bothered. Her granddaughter was in her 30s, but she didn't want to be bothered. And as a result, I taught Julian how to do it, and it ended up being Julian and I taking care of her. And when his friend said, why aren't you going to move in with me? He goes, I have to be here for Vicky. I can't leave Vicky. And so he's always, as much as she loves to give, so does he. And he would not even dream of leaving her. He's taking care of Patches right now and all. And that's why I was just so worried when he didn't get in touch with us. Where is he? He didn't answer my phone calls. Obviously, when he finally fell asleep, he obviously just crashed and hears nothing. And I'm just glad